As you can see from the sign, I'm on the road again traveling, and I'm headed to Mount Airy, North Carolina. And you can see here we've made our destination there, and they do have an Andy Griffith Parkway, and that's the main reason we're here in this small town, because Andy Griffith was born here, and they really honor him in this town. When we got out and started walking around, I soon spot a familiar looking car there. I'll mention that this video is actually a slideshow of pictures that I've taken while visiting there. As there's so much tourism, didn't want to have so many people in the picture. And of course, they have a visitor center that you can stop by and find out anything you want to know about the town. And I was fascinated with some musical instruments they had all up and down the sidewalk, but this one in particular because it had Andy Griffith there. And yes, they have plenty of places to eat. There's Barney's Cafe. They also have Snappy's Lunch Place in town that Andy mentioned in one of his shows, and we're going to try that for lunch. But there's also like a soda fountain shop, and sorry, the reflection through the window, I just thought I'd give you a glimpse of it. And Opie even had a candy store, but it's not quite lunchtime, so we're heading on down to see some more sights. There's a sign in this store window advertising Snappy's. And there's actually the sign to Snappy's Lunch Place, but still not lunchtime yet. We're going to take a look inside Floyd's barber shop to see what it's like. And yes, they still do have a couple of barbers that, does cutting of hair there in the town. But inside you'll see pictures all over the wall, and they did take pictures of us to add to the wall too, I might add. And there's a picture when showing that Mr. Russell Hyde, who was the original owner, did cut Andy's hair at least once or twice in the store, if not more. And they have a dedication to it as Mr. Russell Hyatt had passed away in 2016. And you may want to pause that to see what all is on it. As well as they've got posters and pictures that of interest. And I even like the clock on the wall telling there's 2 chairs, no waiting. But next door, we're going to be headed on over to the courthouse. If you look at the concrete in front of the courthouse and actually going down beside of it, you'll see little blocks that has names on it, and that is honoring the people, or the characters, I should say, that was on the Andy Griffith show. Now let's head on into the courthouse, the sheriff's office. And yes, if you'll remember from the show, there was a 2-cell jailhouse there, and the main one, though, was reserved for Otis. And as I went from the outside, the door was unlocked, so I decided to go on in. Next, we're going to take a look at the reproduction for Emmett Clark's Fix-It shop that was on the Andy Griffith show. And there gives you an idea of some of the things where Emmett would work and all. And they do sell souvenirs as well as show you a lot of antique-looking stuff in there. But that played a big part because Andy named that Emmett's Fix-It shop after his childhood and lifelong friend, Emmett Forrest. Next, I'm going to give you a glimpse of the Andy Griffith Playhouse. It is in Surry County, but it's in the actual town of Mount Airy. And this was once a school, and you can see a picture there of Andy at the top row there. And it was said that's where Andy did his first performance on that school stage in the 3rd grade. I want to show you a couple of neat murals on the walls. There's Andy Griffith's boyhood home in Mount Airy, and next to that is the Darlings farm. And there's one of the courthouse along with Emmett's Fix-It shop and Floyd's barber shop. Pretty neat. As we're leaving the Andy Griffith Playhouse, we're headed next door to see the Andy Griffith Museum. But you first need to make a stop to see the wonderful bronze statue they have of Andy Griffith being portrayed there as Sheriff Andy Taylor with his son Opie headed to the fishing hole. Now let's head on into the museum to see what they have. They have a reproduction sidecar. They also have the birth certificate of Andy, and he was born Andy Samuel Griffith. Next, we have a picture of Andy Griffith out by the statue of him and Opie. Now you're getting a look at Andy Griffith's graduation picture. And here is the salt and pepper suit that Barney wore to court Thelma Lou in. The second salt and pepper suit in this case is the one that Barney wore in the show The Return to Mayberry, and this is the show in where he would marry Thelma Lou in. The case also includes a couple of Don Knotts' awards that he received. And now here's a mirror that Don Knotts gave the actress that played Thelma Lou. And here's one of Goober, or George Lindsay's suits, I should say, he wore when he wasn't working at Wally's service station, but out on the town. They even have a bronze Goober cap on display, and sorry, the glass is reflecting, didn't see that too good. And here's a poster of one of my all-time favorite Andy Griffith movies, No Time for Sergeants. Love that they even have an old rocking chair that Andy's father made for Andy's mom to rock Andy in when he was a baby. And in the next case here, we have a coat and tie that Otis wore for the Andy Griffith show, and at the top was a hat that he would wear out for appearances and all, but the one at the bottom of the case was the original hat that he wore for the Andy Griffith show. Emmett Forrest was Andy's lifelong friend, and he collected memorabilia for about 30 years or so of Andy Griffith's career and all, including this shirt that you're seeing here now. I'll show you a note about this shirt in a minute, but Andy Griffith also donated quite a few things, I think. It was very good that Emmett would keep things such as even a letter. Next, you may remember seeing this blouse in one of the shows from the Andy Griffith show, and that is her wearing that same blouse there, the lady on the left. And we get Barney and Andy into some trouble when they showed up. And next is a Andy Griffith Parkway dedication sign that is signed by Andy. The museum even has quite a collection of Christmas-type houses that you would see dedicated to Mayberry and Andy Griffith show stories. Andy Griffith was an actor, a comedian, producer, writer, a director, and even a singer. Andy even won a Grammy Award for the Best Southern Country or Bluegrass Gospel Album, which was the album I Love to Tell the Story, 25 Timeless Hymns. I'll have to say that the Andy Griffith show is my husband's favorite Andy Griffith show that he did, but my favorite that Andy did was the Madlock show. Before we leave the museum, I want to mention a few more things and show you pictures of them that you may not have known about the Andy Griffith show. And one of those was he would name streets on the Andy Griffith show that was the same streets names in his hometown of Mount Airy, and one of those was Pine Street, which was in episode 99. And here's a picture of Pine Street. Andy's father was in one of the episodes on his show. And here's a little write-up about that episode, and you may want to pause it to read it. And here's a picture of Andy's boyhood home there in Mount Airy and a little write-up about it, and we will be riding by to see that house before we leave Mount Airy. And here's a picture of Andy eating at Snappy's a little later in life, and Here's some pictures about the Snappy's lunch restaurant, and we'll be headed that way shortly for lunch. Last thing I want to show you in the museum is that there was another famous person that was born in Mount Airy. In case you didn't recognize that person, it's Donna Fargo. And here's a sign about Donna Fargo. And I didn't know that she had changed her name from Yvonne Vaughn to Donna Fargo. And I like this picture here of her. And it says, "Hi, everybody. Welcome to my hometown." The picture is signed, "Love, Donna Fargo." We'll leave the museum and head on over to Snappy's for lunch before we finish up the video with a final tour of the town and Andy's house. I'm so ready to try one of their famous pork chop sandwiches. Sorry about the reflection here, but I just wanted to show you from the outside. You could look and see that the cook is grilling those pork chop sandwiches. And as you can see here, the little place is very small and it's very crowded because it's a very popular place. And there's a better picture of the guy with his grilling his pork chops. And here's a sign which Andy said he'd gave like a nickel for bologna sandwiches back in his younger days. And since we're waiting for a table to come free, we'll just look around at some of the artwork or posters or whatever they have on the wall. So enjoy. And from these certificates here, looks like we're at the right place, the best of the best. Well, our table is ready, and now for those pork chop sandwiches. Now let's look at some of the other things that you may be interested in seeing in the town. Up near the courthouse, there's another memory dedicated to one of the cast members on the Andy Griffith show. And just around the corner from that, you're going to be seeing some of the stores they've got. Looks like they've got a lot of old radios there. Now we're getting a look at the Darlings truck along with Wally's towing truck. You can take a tour in one of the police cars they have to offer rides in, and it's approximately $50 at present time, but it can be for up to 5 people in that car for that price. Now, off to see Andy's boyhood home, and you can even stay in the house for a night if you'd like, and the price ranges at the present time from $179 to $200 plus tax for a one-night stay. And there was a truck parked in front, so they had somebody that was actually going to be staying the night in the house. Now it's time to leave almost Mayberry, or Mount Airy, North Carolina, I should say. As we were leaving, we drove on the Donna Fargo Highway and saw what is the most job, I guess, oriented thing in Mount Airy, and that is the Granite Company. And if you're a fan of the Andy Griffith show, you remember the next town over was called Mount Pilot. Well, this is why, and it's really a town over, but it's called Pilot Mountain. Now I want to show you a painting that I have. I thought I'd close out today's video with showing you what I have hanging on the wall in my home. And yes, it is what gave me the inspiration to title this video, Almost Mayberry, as a friend of my husband's painted this picture and gave it to us. And as you can see, there is a Floyd's Barbershop, and just down the road there, looks like that could be the jailhouse and the courthouse and the Justice of the Peace office. It's Almost Mayberry kind of had everything condensed. And as always, I'd like to say thank you so very, very much for watching my video. I hope you have a good day, and I'd love for you to give me a thumbs up. Thanks again.